It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Steph. How are you doing?
I am good. You look a little bit different this week. You're not in your normal spot.
I am at the Sony AV Tech Expo in New York City, and this is an exciting event. This is great because we are here live, which it's been a long time since we've been here live. It's been a long time since we've been around people. It's a very limited invitation only event. It's exciting to be here. There's only about 10, 15 people in at a time because of social distancing. Everyone's wearing a mask, except I'm lucky to not have to wear a mask right now because I'm the only one in here. And check it out. They're showing all the new products here. New projection technologies. Of course, laser is dominating all the projectors nowadays. Everything from digital cinema to conference room projectors are being shown here. And it's been a long time since everyone has seen individual products up close that weren't two-dimensional on computer screens. So that's the most exciting part of this. But the big announcement here includes the new C-LED, the Crystal LED series, C series and B series. So the difference is brightness, right? The B series for brightness is basically about twice as bright as the C series. I'll get into more of those details a little bit later. The C series, of course, is focused on high contrast applications. So indoor meeting room, conference rooms, showcase, digital signage applications. Brightness, you have it in a corporate lobby. But remember, this is micro LED. Sony basically pioneered it, Steph. They were the first ones with micro LED, and I'm excited to be here. I'm going to go through a little tour of this, but I want to remind everyone we're coming to you live on every platform: Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on our website at ravepubs.com. Steph, what do you think about all this?
I mean, this is great. This is like a very exclusive little tour that you're like giving to all of us right now, because as you said, this event was invitation only. They're keeping it small because obviously we're being very careful when going back to in-person events. So I'm very excited that all of us, everyone watching and me included, get to come along with you to see everything that Sony is showing today.
Yeah, and they're doing it hybrid. So if you want to check this out, you can go hybrid and check it out. Make sure you check out the links below on our page. We'll make sure we post how you can see this hybrid. It doesn't start for another hour. Online, so you have a chance to see all this. You're not missing anything. It's a 2-day event. So if you're here in New York City and you happen to be here live with us, great. Otherwise, you get a chance to see this online. But Steph, how's your week been? I haven't been in the office this week. I want to know how you're doing.
Oh, I am doing good. I had a very, chill weekend last weekend. Didn't really do anything. I am excited because I've been like mentally preparing to travel again because like everyone at rAVe is getting ready to go back to live events. So I'm excited that I'm going to be going to CEDIA. I've been getting my InfoComm plans in order. As you know, I signed up to take the CTS at InfoComm. So I got that finished and got that finished and checked off my list. And I am excited to encourage everyone else who hasn't taken the CTS test yet to take it with me at InfoComm so that it'll kind of be like we have a support group there all taking it together.
Hey, Steph, I want to show you something that's going to get you excited.
Okay.
All right, check this out. Look at this.
Okay.
This is a 100-inch LCD. Okay,
oh,
so
that is not just pretty.
Is that incredible? 100-inch
yes.
LCD. It's VESA mountable. So this just hangs on a wall. Peerless, for example, already has mounts for this. Chief, for example,
nice.
already has mounts for this. This is a product. This is going to be big, right? I mean,
that's thin too.
It's literally big. It's literally a big deal. It's 4K resolution. Of course, Sony always has the best content in any demo they ever do. I'm totally blown away by this. It can be mounted portrait or landscape. This is going to be a big deal here. And of course, Sony's got a plethora of digital signage products and conferencing products that they're showing here. They have their monitors with TSI Touch enabled inside of some of the collaboration displays, but also have digital signage displays here. And of course, remember, they have chip on board technology, so you don't need a separate digital signage player to drive this content. But I want to show you one of my favorite products. It is a product that hardly anyone knows about. It's like the best kept secret in the industry. I wrote an article saying this. Come over here. I want my.
All right, I'm coming. I'm coming as fast as I can.
This is the Sony Edge. Do you know about that? Do you know what that is?
Tell me about it, Gary.
This product is 5 products in one. So like imagine that you have a meeting space or a training space that doesn't have green screen, but you want to put up whatever you want in the background, right? You know, you have to worry about the green screens, you have to worry about lighting and those fake green screen applications. We all know how they are, right? They all create a halo. This does that, right? That's one application for it. Another thing it does is camera tracking. So this automatically manages camera tracking by recognizing who the people are and the fact that they are people versus objects, and does camera tracking. This does, I don't even know what this is actually called technically, but you know when you're teaching in a class, you're writing on a whiteboard, it actually projects that, digitally in front of the screen as the person is writing behind them, so that you don't have to actually point a camera at the whiteboard or the blackboard to get it to show. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm excited to be here. We're gonna do an interview with Rich Ventura, who as you know has been at Sony now for almost a year and is heading up all of this technology as part of his purview. But for now, I'm going to turn it over to you because we have a message from our sponsor, Legrand.
Yes, we have a message from our partner really quick, and we're going to show that really quickly. And then, funny. It is funny. It's fantastic. And once we show that, we're going to come back, and I am going to tell you all the news this week. So without further ado, here's this special message just for you guys from our partner, rAVe.
And I'll be back at the end.
Thank you for calling Daylight, where we're passionate about screens even at 3 a.m. How may we help you?
Hey, Karen. This is Rachel with Acme Integrated Solutions.
Oh, hi, Rachel.
Hi. Bad news. The Glacier Sanctuary has stopped construction indefinitely, so the screen installation is on hold.
Oh, no. Why are they stopping?
I guess Antarctica has a bright season. It's going to be light out 24 hours a day for months. I know your HD progressive screens work well with controlled light conditions, but there is no way they can handle the constant punishing sun of the South Pole. And since no modern professional environment can exist without high-quality projection screens,
Show them we care.
saving glaciers will have to wait.
Tell my children we tried.
Hi, guys.
I know I should be used to that now, but it is very scary.
Look, there's no need to shut down. We have Parallax ALR screens.
Yes! ALR?
Ambient light rejection. Technology that can handle oodles of ambient light situations. Even a situation called the sun.
Karen, I know daylight screens are the best, but this isn't just the sun. This is the sun all the time.
It's no problem.
Big problem. With sun all the time, reflecting off snow all the time, won't it be brighter all the time?
Well, it will be brighter, but our Parallax surfaces are designed to preserve high contrast images in the brightest of environments, even the all the time ones.
But that's just brightness. What about glare? Once our glass dome is finished, it'll basically be a giant prism, spewing sun lasers from every direction. Glare will be everywhere. There'll be no escape!
But there will be an escape because Parallax screens are not TVs. They reject and absorb light so there's no glare.
And they make parallax screens big enough for glaciers?
She's right. That's way too small.
Parallax screens come in seamless sizes up to 16 feet tall.
Perfect.
Oh, no.
Look, see for yourself.
It's beautiful.
It's Parallax.
I'm back in at the very end. Oh. All right. Hey, everybody. We are back. Thank you so much to rAVe, our very special partner in rAVe TV, for that really hilarious video we're so lucky to show during our show. So as Gary said, he dipped out for a few minutes. He's going to go get an interview with Rich Ventura and see if we can share that by the end. If not, we will share it by next week. And by the way, where Gary is right now, I got the name of the event for you and got the link to Kelsey so she can share it on social so all of you can join that. That is Sony's AV Tech Expo. And so, yeah, that began today as an invitation-only event in New York City, which is where Gary is. But there is also, of course, it's a hybrid event. So there is an online component so you can join from the comfort of your own home and see all the things that Gary was talking about. So without further ado, I'm going to run you guys through the news alone this week. So if I screw anything up, I'm sorry. Gary is normally here to support me and correct me when I'm wrong. But obviously today he is not on site. So without further ado, we're going to start with talking about a column today. And this is from our very good writer, Paul Konikowski. So I've talked about his Securing AV series before. And he is kind of a specialist in cybersecurity, which kind of seems like, oh, well, this is kind of an IT thing, not really an AV thing. Why should we care about this? Listen, if you're an end user, if you're an integrator, if you're an AV IT specialist or an in-house integrator for a university, like, you need to be caring about cybersecurity, because keeping your university, keeping your office, keeping everything secure is so important, because hackers can really do anything these days. And if they sense a hole or a soft spot in someone's system, they will find it. So this is kind of a story that hits really close to home for me. This is about the Colonial pipeline attack, which happened back in May, and it was kind of affected North Carolina in like May and June. So basically a hacker guessed, I think it was again like a hacker guessed a password and got into the system again. And what happened was the Colonial pipeline shut everything off to prevent anything from happening. But what happened was when they shut everything off, it kind of created a sense of panic. And so then everyone ran to the gas stations and was like, oh, I have to get all the gas in the world. And so for a solid week and a half, people in North Carolina just like couldn't find gas. So that was rough, but we made it through, and he is doing a two-parter on this. So this is part one. So part one, he's kind of just setting everything up, talking about what this has to do with the White House executive order, talking about what this has to do with cybersecurity and AV. And I think in the next part, he's going to kind of get more into the nitty-gritty of things. But yeah, it's a really good piece. So if you just kind of remember that happening in the news a couple months ago and want to know more, want to know how it affects our industry and how, once again, how important cybersecurity is, highly recommend checking this out. So next up, I am going to talk to you guys about a new series of custom LED displays from MaxHub. So MaxHub is a very popular brand. You know them, you love them. But I love to talk about when new displays come out, because those are things that are just constantly evolving. And like just the Sony displays that Gary showed you guys today, that 100-inch that was beautiful. Displays are constantly changing in pro and home. Now people are talking about resi-mercial. So the like pro and home are coming together, and displays are another area where we are really going to see things that work for both. But be that said, this series, they're lightweight. They're about 10 pounds, which is really nice when it comes to specifying and installing these in a commercial space. I wouldn't know. I've never installed displays in a commercial space, but I can imagine that if it's a really, really heavy display. That's going to be really hard when you're going to have two people to heft this around, but these are 10 pounds. So that is really nice. And the depth is only a little over an inch, which is also nice when it comes to installing these. 16:9 aspect ratio, which is of course the standard. Panel resolution 480 by 270. So once again, I think that these are really, really great. And they also include 16K SRAM or SRAM for display data storage. So they've got that as well. They're going to be available, I think, around now because when they originally sent us the announcement, they were scheduled to become available at the end of July. So if they're not available yet, they should be available in the next week or so. But yeah, once again, all these stories are on ravepubs.com. And Kelsey's dropping the link in LinkedIn right now. So if you're watching from LinkedIn, you should be able to click that link and visit the page if you want to read the full story and get all the specs for yourself. If of course I am butchering them, even though I am trying not to. So speaking of butchering, next blog I have to talk to you guys about, as Gary mentioned earlier, I am slated to take the CTS exam at Infocom. And as you know, I have a podcast that I do through rAVe called Study with Steph, in which I take kind of each subject of the CTS test, break it down with an expert who has a CTS or some who teach or have taught CTS classes in the past to kind of help me break down the parts that I need to keep studying and things that I really need to learn to look at from an integrator perspective. Because as you guys know, I'm not an integrator. I've never had that experience. But I know that there are plenty of journalists and other people from my type of field who have a CTS, but it is helpful to get integrators in the field to come and help me really put things into perspective. And so basically, all of that backstory to tell you guys that I was talking to Tom Kerr about Ohm's Law, Tom Kerr from Almo, and I told him that I'm having the hardest time with it. I've never taken physics. I'm not a big math guy. I'm a words guy. And so he was kind of explaining this to me, and it kind of gave him an idea to write a blog about it, which is so helpful because he includes fantastic graphics. This one is ridiculous, but it is actually really helpful to understand how like impedance and power kind of all of those things like come together with the ohms to make Ohm's law. And he breaks it down with all of these so you understand what all of the symbols are meaning. And then he taught me about the rule of the magic triangle, which is like one of the most helpful things that I've ever heard in studying for the CTS, because basically if you draw this triangle, all you have to do is cover up the part that you're trying to solve for, and it makes it so much easier. So this article breaks it down and really kind of takes you step by step, gives you real world examples of projectors and how to solve this. And I highly recommend giving this a read if you are having trouble with Ohm's law, or if you're studying for the CTS and just need someone to kind of help you walk through the different formulas and help you study, or even if you aren't getting your CTS and you have one already and you just want a refresher. This article is fantastic, and I already reached out to him to thank him for writing it, but I would like to thank him for writing it again because it was very, very helpful to me in my studies. So last little piece of news I want to talk to you guys about. So we are doing a piece of residential news today in honor of CEDIA coming up, and the fact that we're really having a moment in residential AV right now. And I talked about how resi-mercial was kind of becoming a thing. And so I just think that we all need to take residential AV. I mean, we're all taking it seriously, but I just think that as they continue to converge and as verticals kind of are stacking on top of each other instead of being so separate, I think it's cool to bring in things from different verticals that we don't normally. So basically, Shop Indoor Golf adds this premium golf simulator to its SigPro products, which I just think is so funny that people have like golf simulators in their houses. But you know, if you have that in your house, go off. You must really enjoy the golf. But it is really cool that they are updating these. The simulator impact screen is available in over 20 sizes, so they're really trying to make it available in no matter what size house you have, no matter what type of room you have that you're going to be doing this in. So, you know, we've really come a long way from that like toilet golf set that people get a lot as gag gifts. But yeah, so I think those are the few pieces of news that I had prepared for you guys today. But as always, you can reach out to me or Gary via email. I'm Steph at therAVeagency.com. Gary is Gary at therAVeagency.com with any news that you think that we should cover. I know that a few of you have asked if we could talk more about the chip shortage, and I'm having one of our columnists write about that. So if you want us to cover or talk about or compare two different products, we can do that. If you want us to talk about greater industry trends, we can do that. Like, we obviously want to talk about the things that you guys care about and want to hear us talk about, because the last thing we want to do is, you know, get up here and talk about things that you don't really want to see or hear about. So we really care about your opinions. So please continue to reach out to us and tell us about industry trends that you think that we should cover. But yeah, I also wanted to take you guys on a brief tour of launch.com while I have you, so we can talk about a few events that are coming up. Let me unshare my screen really quick so I can get it pulled up for you guys, because I think it might try to pull me into the back end of the website. Oh, never mind. Okay, we're ready. Great. So as you can see on this pop-up on the screen, we are live now on Launch with USAV's Next Gen Education event. So that's also why it's crazy in the rAVe office today, because half our team is doing that, half our team is doing rAVe TV. So, you know, rAVe team, if y'all are watching this, pat yourselves on the back, because y'all work hard. Y'all work harder than the Energizer Bunny. So anyways, as you can see, like, USAV's event it was yesterday, today, and then there's going to be a last day tomorrow. It's been a pretty fantastic event. We've heard nothing but good things so far. The USAV has been a great partner, and their event is fantastic. They've really gathered some great content, so highly recommend joining that. Even if you just want to pop in today or tomorrow, you can do that by going to launch.com. The Branding of Me series is coming up on Launch. So I don't know if any of you know that Gary K teaches at UNC Chapel Hill. I don't think he's really ever brought it up. That's obviously sarcasm, because he loves to talk about it. But so Branding of Me, he's going to talk about how to brand yourself. He has a whole class on this, on how to brand yourself and market yourself to the industry that you want to get a job in, how to market yourself in general, how to make a platform for yourself, how to know if you have something to say. It's going to be a fantastic series. So even if, you know, I know this is an AV thing, but branding yourself works in every vertical and every field. So highly recommend joining that. And finally, coming up soon, we have a ScreenBeam launch that is going to be for making hybrid meetings work for your organization. And this is going to be important, right? Because today, even Sony's event, it's a hybrid event. Hybrid is not going away just because, like, some people think that we're coming out of the clear in COVID. Like, this is a serious thing. Hybrid is not going anywhere. A lot of people are going to use this to save money in the future, which, like, you know, maybe not having as many people and having to prep for as many people at an event or at a meeting is going to save money, whereas they can bring some people on virtually. So, all right, if Gary is ready, I think that we have a video for y'all to end our show. So I think that that's pretty much all I can talk to you about. Ethan, you good? You ready? Okay. Are we bringing Gary back on? Okay, great. Well, I will wrap us up for today then. This has been rAVe TV. It's been a little bit weird this week. Sorry about that, but thank you for watching and sticking with me as I tried to do this by myself. We will, as always, see you next week at noon Eastern, right here, wherever you watched it, LinkedIn, Twitter, ravepubs.com, and all the stories and things I talked about today, launch.com and ravepubs.com. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph